flow. We'll sketch and laugh, won't you come along? With every stroke we'll sing our song. Treble draw, let your imagination soar. Treble draw, bring art to every door. No need to be perfect, just have some fun. Treble draw for everyone. From silly doodles to masterpieces bright, we'll make something special day and night. Colors explode with each new design. In Treble draw, it's always fine. Treble draw, let your imagination soar. Treble draw, bring art to every door. No need to be perfect, just have some fun. Treble draw for everyone. So grab a brush or a pen or a crayon. Make a mark any way you can. In this world of shapes and lines, we'll see creativity shine. Treble draw, let your imagination soar. Treble draw, bring art to every door. No need to be perfect, just have some fun. Treble draw for everyone.
And we are live! So let me just go ahead and go to the drawing section here, because we don't even need to do the talk. Because we're just going to do the talk all over. We don't really have anything preset, because I kind of was like, well, I want to cover this, and I want to cover that, and I want to cover this, and I want to cover... It's absurd. There's so much to talk about. We were going to do last week a stream, and we were going to talk about the California wildfires. We're going to kind of cover that a little bit today, but we're also going to talk about the TikTok situation and the people going over to Red Note, aka Red Book. We're also going to talk about Trump inauguration. I know there are people that have issues, and we'll try to talk a little bit about what people's issues are, and also the insanity that is the weather, for crying out loud. It's snowing in parts of the country that never get snow. I kid you not, it is snowing. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's climate change. It's like, it's more moving of the jet stream, and the jet stream doesn't really get affected by climate change. But yeah, sure, climate change. The jet stream is in a very low line. I don't know why. I don't know if there's a polar shift. It certainly feels that way outside right now. Where I live, it is in the teens as the norm. And yeah, that makes it already not a great place to be. But yeah, let's get to things. Since we've not really... Have we done one since... I don't think we've done an art stream, a dribble draw, since the new year. I don't think we have. Maybe we have. No, we did. We started with the art. We are doing a daily draw. I've only missed one so far, and that was simply because I was not feeling well, and I did not have the time really to get things done, so I just skipped that day. And that's okay. That's why I gave me. And this is something to note as we go through here today, working on both Witchin and working on dribble draw, or today's daily draw. It's important to note, these are tasks for me to be therapeutic. Me just chatting to you is a therapeutic moment. If you're standing here listening to it, and it's like, thank you. Listening to me rant and vent about the world. Let's start with the one that should not be the biggest thing to talk about, but somehow is, and that is TikTok. of course, the Congress voted back in, I think, October to remove TikTok. And it's not just TikTok. We need to establish this. What people get wrong about this whole TikTok controversy is it is not just TikTok. It is also a couple of other apps and whatnot. I know there's a video editing app that's been removed as well. Under this concept that we don't want, here in the US, we don't want to be giving out the information willingly to countries that do not have the best interest in heart. China, Russia, not Israel, Iran, stuff like that. Countries that are on our no-no list. Potential problems for us. So, I mean, that's... Why did that? Essentially, what they're trying to do is they're saying, hey, we don't want this information being gotten out. We'd rather our divisions collected, essentially. You could stand there and be like, well, the U.S. government's not any better, and you've got me, yeah, I mean, that's 100%. And other people be like, oh, well, it's, a matter of my free speech being taken away from me and TikTok. And here's the thing, even when people... This has been known for weeks, it was coming, and then when it happened, people were like, oh, I'm off. It's like, you knew it was coming. It was well known for about 2 years they were trying to do this. Actually, for 5 years. Because I think Trump tried to do this initially when he first had office. But the thing is they're trying to get it sold off to an American buyer. And a lot of people offered. Mr. Beast has offered, Elon Musk offered. I think Kai Cenat was also made an offer on it. It makes sense, to do that. However, for some reason whatsoever, China is like, no, we need you to, keep we want to keep this as part of our, branding, as it were, as a Chinese app. Now, I can say, as someone who does not use TikTok, as one platform we are not part of. Oh, which, by the way, hello, Twitter viewers. We stream now on Twitter regularly. We're now verified and in the listing of Twitters. So, but yeah, with this whole TikTok situation, people kind of got out of hand and thought, oh, well, it's going to make it so I can't do anything. You can always still do stuff, but I mean, basically Apple, and here's the thing, Apple and Google / Android have to remove it from their app stores, because basically it is now illegal for these apps that are run by China, which ironically, and I have to credit Natsuki for pointing this out, Genshin Impact is not caught up, and Genshin Impact is probably one of the biggest money makers of China out there, because I mean they rake in billions. And Genshin Impact and Honkai Rail, we are not sponsored. They still are available. They still can be played, and they still can be, all that. And you can still get them in the app store, but you cannot do TikTok. Kind of. It still exists. You can still go to a website, and it's fine. It's no problem there. You can still post on it. You still can kind of make money off of it. I don't know how TikTok really financially works, but hey, I mean, all the more to you. But then we had this situation where Trump's now come out, since he's become in office, and basically said, Well, I don't know if I want to do this. And Trump did give a reason for it. He basically said, hey, I got around to using it myself over the, last year or so when we were doing campaign. And, we're going to keep it up and allow them to keep doing that. So basically now that even though Apple and Android cannot let you download the app, which is weird, you get this message to go on when you go on TikTok. It basically says, "Oh, Trump saved us." It's a weird limbo of legalese that I have no credentials to really talk about. I literally tried to listen to a legal discussion about it this morning while I was doing my job, and I was like, "What the hell am I hearing?" It's insane. It's flat out insane. Basically, will TikTok survive is going to be dependent upon will they sell out. It is kind of scummy that the government is kind of forcing a sale of an independent company, and they don't. In standing. While this has gone through the Supreme Court, they could close off this information because it is a interest in foreign safety. I'm not going to say, I know exactly what that foreign safety is because it's essentially basically China getting a hold of this stuff. And a lot of people are like, well, what stuff? Well, they can get a hold of your bank account information through TikTok, folks. And all of a sudden your bank account gets drained out, and oh look, China has a bunch more money. They can, use your social security number, for suspicious things, and bring people into the country under your social security number, and they could even sell your property if you own a home. The stuff internet thieves can do is amazing, and China has got the best of those. Trust me, they have some amazing digital thieves. I guess they'd be considered terrorists, or what would be it? They're hacker groups essentially. They have some of the greatest hacker groups come from China. So it's not really a big surprise when the country's basically saying, secrets are at risk here. Stuff is at risk. Because, if you have any, connection to government positions, your information could leak to a government site where they could leak in and hack into the government site, so on and so forth. It's a situation where it's a lose-lose, essentially. And will we see TikTok officially end? If they don't sell, probably. But, I don't know if it will occur. I kind of feel like Trump is gonna not let it go away, but at the same time, it's gonna have to go through. You're gonna have to go through like loops, and it's pretty much functionally dead. Let's see now. Drawing this guy's face. Where is? Oh, let's do it this way. I'll just go to the page. But we have all kinds of issues. Now, the people on TikTok that, this whole thing caused them to run off, ran over to Red Note, is what they call it here in the US, but it's actually called The Little Red Book, in reference to Mao's Little Red Book, of the communist agenda, basically. And in that site, people are saying, oh, well, they have these great things. We're learning, Mandarin. We're seeing all this amazing stuff. Pretty much Shanghai is what you're seeing, because Shanghai is pretty much the technical powerhouse of the East, and was when it was not part of China. Yeah. Just like Taiwan is not part of China. I am not afraid to say that. It might get me cut off on something, but hey, I'm not afraid to say it. Taiwan is not part of China. So they're going to this website and they're seeing all this great stuff and they're like, I want to move. Our government should do that. It's like, you do realize you're literally buying into propaganda. Now, I'm not just saying America doesn't have propaganda. Oh, hell yes, we have propaganda. The last day is all about propaganda. But at the same time, there's some things I like and some things I don't. That came out about the inauguration day. So we'll talk a little bit as we go there. But Redbook is essentially a social site of China that technically is not what it seems to be. A lot of people think, oh, well, hey, this is great. I can, see all this stuff on here and learn Mandarin. Like I said, and see all this great environment of China. Well, that is until you get into like the back areas of China, the towns, the small towns, the poor, downtrodden, the empty freaking complexes that are built simply to put people to work, or the slavery, because yes, China has slavery. It is Muslim slaves, I think a few Christian slaves as well. But it is slavery caused by religion, and it is particularly Muslim Uyghur that the slavery involves. And if you try to talk about that, or try to talk about how, like we said on the stream, how Taiwan is not part of China, well, that's a red flag on the Redbook. It'll get you removed. It'll get your content removed, and if you were in territory where China could operate, it would get you removed. I don't mean like, I'm gonna be you'll be taken away into a nice little internment camp if you're lucky. You might just disappear and no one will hear from you again. That's the disturbing part of Redbook that people don't want to think about, don't want to look into. So is TikTok gone? No. Is there a risk that seriously we need to focus on, that it could be a problem with Redbook being in there? Yes. Will it last? I don't think so. I think it will go the same way TikTok is right now, but I don't think the offer will be made to sell it, and anybody who goes on there is just bringing their own risk into the situation. But I mean, it's essentially, it's a mess. It's a mess. I do think TikTok will survive. I do. I don't know how it'll survive, and I don't know what the functionality will be in the future, but I do feel it will at least make it through. Because I do feel the president saw the benefits of it through the campaign. So I think that is one of the reasons why it'll survive. It may not. I could be, completely full of it, and it come out down the line and be like, oh, well, you know, you're a complete freaking moron. You're just... it's possible. It's possible. But I'm willing to make that bet that I am wrong or right over I am being wrong. So I have a strong feeling as the year goes, we will probably see TikTok continue, but I feel like it won't be the same as it was. If it gets sold off to somebody, I can't guarantee that it's going to function the same way. I think the best bet would have been somebody who already has skill with social media, like a Musk or like a Zuckerberg, or even, well, Bezos, not really, because I don't think Bezos really knows. Amazon's a great site and all. It is a mess, though. It is absolutely a mess. And I can't imagine a Amazon-based social app. So, that's one thing I can't figure out. Now, to go to that, let's talk about the financially bigger problem. The California fires. The California fires have three main problems. One is poor planning and protection. This is based on the government. I would say it's based on the president, but honestly, Trump did warn Newsom about this back in 2018. There are records showing it, and they tried to sue him for it. So the fact that they tried to warn him about the fire, you know, this was going to come, and Gavin Newsom ignored it, it's on Gavin. And those people that say, oh, well, you shouldn't bring politics into it, yes, people's lives are going to be in problematic situations. A lot of people lost their livelihood. There are going to be people who do not recover from this. But it's not any different than North Carolina was. The only difference is there aren't Hollywood actors in the mountains of North Carolina. And North Carolina, there was no way to predict that. The fires, they have fires every year. They know how to maintain them every year. Yes, the wind was a problem. The wind was a serious problem. But not having the water supply, that's a serious problem as well. And people are like, well, we couldn't bring in airplanes to drop the water. You still could have had hoses and fire hydrants. Well, the fire knocked out the electricity. Then you have an electrical grid problem. So, I mean, you want to make excuses for why it didn't work and that it's not the government's problem, then you're seriously ignoring the issues that are causing this fire. And the main issue is California has so many environmental protection laws in place that it doesn't allow clear cutting and controlled burns. That is what saves forests. That is what keeps and maintains the wildlife as it is throughout the United States and the world. Honestly, if you do not do controlled burns, it will burn. It will burn. And that's why it used to happen a lot. And it's why it's well known, hey, you do this stuff for maintenance. It's to keep, as you build your population up, you need to be able to make it so that your population is not at risk. Now, some people will be like, oh, well, I'm going to blame the insurance companies for dodging out at the last minute. It's their 100%. They're at fault here. No, because the insurance companies saw the problem, said, hey, government, we need to raise the prices because you are putting a lot more risk on our end of covering this. And California said, no, we will not allow you to raise that rate. And so the insurance companies were like, well, we can't afford to operate here. So, and you had people like, or companies like State Farm leave, and people were blaming. It's like, well, I lost my State Farm thing 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. This was announced back in, I think, September. So you had a couple months to know this was happening, to find new insurance. I know California has its own form insurance as well. But at the same time, if you depend upon the government to do everything for you, then you're a fool as much as you are, if you just gave your money to a total stranger. Because the government is going to spend money. It will. Is it sunny outside? They're spending money. It doesn't matter on what, they're spending money. And that goes for both local and national. And I will throw in an example, because at the same week when the fires were going, the water at my city broke. And it's because the last several mayors did not fix the water maintenance system on a 100-year-old system. So we did not have drinkable water for at least a week. Now, it's finally getting straight, because there was a new incoming administration, and they were basically like, oh, well, this is a fine kettle of fish to put on us on, like, day 3 of our administration. So no one was blaming them for the situation. They just knew they had to fix it. And they're working on it. They got a new person in charge that actually knows how to run the business, aka an engineer. This is essentially, if you do not have somebody who knows how to do the job, and they're supposed to do a crucial job, then you're in danger. I was gonna play the fire chief, but it's kind of overplayed now. That was hired in LA that basically says, oh, well, if you got yourself in a home and you need help, your husband needs out, then, he got himself in that situation and that's his fault. It's like, no, you're the fire department. You're supposed to be there to help. We had a horrific story of a handicapped individual who had their mother flee to get help, when actuality is more likely they knew that they were going to die, and their mother get out before they died. And the mother couldn't get help before the building collapsed and killed him. And the unfortunate guy, he was unable to walk. He was in a horrible shape. And you're talking an elderly old woman trying to carry that out. That's a fire department job. That is literally a fire department job. Now, I understand the fire department is well out of hand of what they can do. You were asking for a lot of help from the fire department. But then you have people like, and I'm going to call this person out because they did the right thing. And I can't believe I'm calling this person out, but let me make sure. Sure, I get the name correct on here. Steven Guttenberg. Oh my God, the star of Police Academy movies. If you did not see the Police Academy movies, they were a thing in the 80s and the 90s, a comedy series. Steve Guttenberg was essentially the star, and he was out there in the fires moving trucks so people could get the fire department in, because people were just abandoning their cars and running for it in the middle of the street, and it made the situation far worse. So, I did not imagine, and I don't think the world imagined, to hear about Steven Guttenberg out there doing the right thing. But I mean, they're doing the right thing. Markiplier lives in the fires and whatnot. He got a chainsaw and started helping out people after he was, proven that he didn't have to exit his home, and he got out there and helped. I mean, it's a community thing. There's a reason why we call it the volunteer fire department. It's the community, and I think going into the year, we need to really focus more on how to work as a community and then less of how individually we work. Because I think that's our main problem when we're going to talk about some other issues, particularly when we get to the Trump, that a lot of people are panicking, and a lot of people don't realize, hey, you're not in danger as you think you are. But we'll get to it, and if you disagree, by all means, leave a comment. Even downvote me, I don't care. But leave a comment, leave a comment. I'll be more than happy to respond and listen to you if you wanted to just, yell at me and tell me why I'm wrong. You'd be like, oh, well, they're out, the trans people. I'm a trans woman. I've been a trans woman since 2010. I came out. So I've lived my life for about almost, 15 years as a trans woman, and I have not had any real issues with either side with being trans. I've had more issues with the trans community than I've had with, say, a conservative community. I really have. And it's mainly because of how they act and how they treat the situations. Because when it gets to things, and we'll go a little bit more about this, I mean, it's a matter of how you act and respect each other. Because you cannot expect respect from people if you give no respect. And a lot of people out there, especially in the GLBT community, they will act without respect to others. They'll be like, oh, you gotta accept me. It's like, no. If you act that way, you're making an ass out of yourself. And people want to deal with less of you. I live full-time as a female. I've been a trans female, like I said, since 2010. I have had no issues. I use women's restrooms, and I dress and act appropriate. I do not get offensive. If somebody asks me to leave, I will leave. I do not go into dressing rooms, but then I don't really go to places where there are dressing rooms. If I want to do exercise, I will do it in my home or outside, where, Lord knows who's going to judge me. Well, people do. I get the stares, I get the awkward conversations, I get the, some of the stuff that most people would be offended by, but I was like, who cares? So what? Because the thing about trans, and this is the thing that I think most people need to understand about trans. A lot of people made it glorified and be like, oh, well, it's a huge thing to be this way. No. It's more a matter of learning to accept you for you. That's why there's the transition for people who don't understand why someone would be given the go-ahead to transition. It's because you need to accept you. And one of the biggest negatives in the trans community is people go like, oh, well, the suicide rate's so high, and that's the reason why people's words and actions to make things worse for us is bring the suicide rate. Suicide is always going to be the person who commits the suicide's fault. I don't care. I know I've been suicidal before, but mainly over different situations. It's not been because I'm trans. It's been because of my health. It's been because of people destroying my life financially. But I've grown from those. And that's the thing. You have to learn to accept and grow from yourself. And as a trans person, that's what I do. I mean, I have to learn how to accept and grow. Yeah, there are going to be people that are going to be like, well, I think you're wrong and you don't need to be here. Good for them. It's not going to affect me in the day. It really doesn't. It's not, we're not talking 1950s to pretty much 1870s to 1950s. African American issues. Okay, we're not talking about the Klansmen coming and attacking. All right, it's more, common sense practices and respect. If you're respectful, people will respect you. That's simply that. And I mean, that's going to be the case. Same with the Trump inauguration. I was amused in watching this video of the protesters. Now, there were protesters back in 2016 as well, and they got violent. Somehow, this time they didn't get violent, and to my knowledge, they didn't get violent. I don't know. There's going to be people who don't like that the other side won. Either side of the an election. There's always going to be sides that disagree. The point of the matter is you basically should show, again, respect, and it's mainly respect for the office, respect for the power, and you move on. Now, I understand people will be like, well, January 6th, it's like, you do realize that a lot of what we've been told about January 6th has been a lot of fabrication. And a lot of what was found in the committee was conveniently removed. We now have videotapes showing the opposite of what people believe. People were literally just guided and walked in, and yet they went to prison. A man went to prison for picking up a piece of trash in the rotunda on January 6th. The man went to prison. Some of these people did not even have a trial. It's 2025. They went to jail in 2020. Or 2021. It would be 2021. It's insane that some people didn't even have a trial and sat in prison for that long. And so there's this big controversy about Trump going through and releasing the January 6th individuals and pardoning them today. That was fine. I have no problem with that. I have a problem with, Biden's pardons, because why is he pardoning his family? Why is he pardoning Fauci if they did nothing wrong? So, stuff can be very suspicious, and it's kind of hard to sit there and swallow and accept that maybe some of the stuff you're wrong, and you need to go through and do your own investigation on things. And that's one of the main things that I've always stood by. I mean, when I was writing about transitioning and whatnot back in 2010, 2012, I did my research. I would read through medical studies. I'd do through, I literally went through a biblical study to make an argument of all the arguments against transitioning in the Bible. And why there's, does it really hold up? In some cases, yes. Some cases, no. fact of the matter are that it's more likely, essentially, you live your life and don't bother with somebody else, more than likely you're not going to have a problem. And that's the case in everything we do these days. I mean, it really is. The only reason why the trans issue became a big issue was because of stuff like drag queen story hours, or, you know, the constant changing of the child's gender without the parents' permission. Stuff like that. That's what irritated the community, and that's what brought out the votes for Trump this past year. So, I mean, it's literally, those were the number one key issues that people didn't really pay attention to, and the media did not want to acknowledge was the main problem. And it's surprising how in denial we still stand with stuff like DEI hiring. It's one of the dumbest things I could ever tell you that we've ever done. You hire, all my life, it's been you hire by merit. You hire by merit. You hire by skill. You hire by merit. When I got out of college in 2000, it was you hire by skill. You hire by merit. You bust your ass off on an internship. Yeah, it may not pay, but you get some skills and then you move on from there. Or you build your improve yourself over and over and over again. You accept criticism of, you know, crappy work you're doing, or something that somebody won't accept as an appropriate look. And hell, I put out crap. I still put out crap at times. There are days that I do not draw at my best. There are days I don't write at my best. I mean, good Lord, I don't write at my best at times. But the thing is you work to improve that. So, I mean, I haven't done much writing in the last year. I'm planning to do some these days. It's on my list of something privately to do, is do work on my writing. But at the same time, I'm doing daily draws to help improve with my art, but also get myself promoted in art. And also to give myself no reason to have an excuse. The more you practice, the better you get at something. It doesn't matter if you are a complete amateur or a master art at it. You know, it's the more you practice, the better you get. It's the simple law of the things. I don't know why it went that. I just want to get to a page that I can use as a color reference. So we'll use a page that's already out. So, I mean, this very page, I had to do an edit on a week ago. Before it dropped, when it dropped. Because I was like reading through it and I was like, oh crap. I should have had it say this and not this, and so I had to do an edit. I released a drawing. I wasn't feeling well that day. That was literally last Tuesday. When the system went down, it went broken, I did a hand drawing of Minute VTuber. And I took it and I wrote, I have technical issues, but I left the U out of issues. And I didn't notice it until after I had already posted it everywhere. I was like, oh. I'm not proud of it. It's there. I talked about on Saturday's stream, I wasn't proud of how the pose came out with Tifa. But it's still there. I still acknowledge it. People can see it. It's important to learn from your mistakes and grow. And that's one of the things that I think we need to do a lot more of. I know a lot of people don't want to acknowledge they have mistakes. They want to think, oh, well, I'm perfect, and oh, why? No one's perfect. We're all big. Where are we passing? Yeah, big fuck hats. We're all big fuck hats. you're gonna screw up on something. You could be the best at something, an acclaimed master, and you still screw up. It's part of life. If we didn't screw up and learn, we would not grow as a society. So, it's important that we learn to adapt, honestly. And I feel I watched the inauguration, and I feel there was a good example. And it wasn't Trump, it was the Carrie Underwood moment. And it wasn't on Carrie, it was on the technical issues. So those who didn't know, Carrie Underwood performed the national anthem at the Trump inauguration. Well, she was supposed to have music to play in the background to lead her into it. The music did not work. So Carrie waited about 2 minutes, and then she's like, well, if y'all just join me in the singing this, we'll get this done. And she went and sung an a cappella version of the song, and it was stunning. And it's because she is a talented voice. She knows how to sing the anthem by heart, and she absolutely killed it. And that was, whoever was in charge of the technical issues, it was their mistake. They made a horrible mistake that day. But Carrie picked it up and went with it. And love or hate the Trump thing, check that out. It doesn't matter what spectrum you fall on, that was a beautiful rendition. Now, you can hate the national anthem, I guess you never want to watch it anyway. But, it's there. I'm trying to save what Trump said to the next half, or the other half of this stream. Mainly because it's like, okay, this is going to be the part where most people want to either listen to or don't want to listen to. So let's talk about the other weather event occurring right now. I find it amusing that we are freaking cold outside. But at the same time, my brother, who went and moved down to Louisiana because of his job, I did not expect they would get more snow than we do up north of them. From where I live, we got a little bit of snow. We've only got about 2, maybe 3 inches, and like 2 snowstorms so far this year. And my brother's got that in this morning, and that's it. And it's like, how is the state, the state far south of me having snow? More snow than I have all year. And it's amusing, it's something to laugh about, and that's something that's important. If life is getting to you, because some people don't like Trump, don't want this to go through, and then some people are expecting a lot of Trump or other people in the media or in other facets to do stuff. And life doesn't give magical wand moments. You're not gonna wake up and suddenly something amazingly happened. It has to happen over time, and people will help you in little ways, little bits. but it's best to work over. It's not. And I mean, I especially say that with the fires. There's a lot of charity. There's a lot of charity for the fires in California. But here's the thing. That charity will dry up soon. And those people will still be in need. So it's important when you do something charitable to remember, if it's something as devastating as the fires or what went on in North Carolina and Tennessee back in August, it's important to know, it's like, there are ways to help, and go out there. Joseph, not sure if you heard this, but there's a hilarious conspiracy theory I found. Elon Musk is in contact with the synthetic human cat girl from the future in Stargate supercomputer name. Stargate because it's actually going to be used in my contact with AI. Yes, Trump did just announce Stargate, so I don't know about the AI cat girl from the future, or the human cat girl from the future, but it is suspicious with Stargate being announced today by Trump, literally a few moments ago. He announced it, I think, about 5 o'clock, that they were starting an AI functionality, which honestly the country needed to do. If you ignore AI, you're going to fall behind in the times. AI, as much as I do not like AI for art's sake, AI is going to be very crucial for a lot of things in this world, especially medical. But the fact of the matter is we're going to have to learn boundaries for AI. We're going to have to learn that. But yeah, Trump announcing Stargate. I heard that name and I was like, wait a second. We're getting the 90s sci-fi movie name functionality in AI development? What? And I just had to laugh. The supercomputer was actually in the works since 2024. The theory is that essentially it was called Stargate because Musk eventually plans to use the thing to communicate with the future. It's dumb, but it's hilarious. I can believe it. I've called out Musk because I did. I had a novel, and I still have the novel still available in some places. 11 Kingdoms came out in 2013. I was talking about Neuralink before Musk coined the phrase Neuralink. I'm not saying, Musk owes me money, no, because technically it was the code name of it in MTI. The Neuralink was something I expected they were going to do more with the synthetic limbs first, and they just jumped straight to where I was writing in the novel, which is people are connecting their brains to a computer system, and eventually you'll be able to upload and download brain capacity to a cyber service. I in fact told my family, I was like, look, if I'm going to die, I want to be uploaded on the internet. That's what I want. That way my dead corpse can haunt everybody on the internet. I'm all for it. I also said, just throw my corpse in the sea, because it's far more use to the sea than it would be on land. Put me in cement and throw me in the ocean. I'm fine with that. That's perfectly fine with me. I can become a coral reef for somebody, for some fish, and hey, there you go. But yeah, we are going to see, and this is what kind of exhausted me over the inauguration, is I did not realize how fast things were going to move. I am still dumbfounded by what Trump's done, what Elon's announced, what's been announced in literally the last 2 weeks. We are going to be seeing science and technology advance, not a couple days or a year, we're going to be seeing like 1 or 2 weeks. Technology is going to jump like centuries almost, because we're already at the point of reaching of what is called a super AI, which is super intelligence that's well beyond the human capability. And it will be able to figure out problems that would take us centuries to figure out. Stuff like figuring out cancer. It's going to be get crazier. Oh yeah. I am all in for how crazy this world's going to be. Whether or not, Trump and Musk do something that ultimately cause me to, not like what they're doing, is for me to see and, how they develop. I did not trust Trump when he first got into office. I absolutely said, he was going to be a disaster, and he proved me wrong. I am solely behind him mainly for economic reasons, because I know how the economy works, but also the man's been the first president in my lifetime to really bring peace. So I gotta support him there. Place your bets, chat. Full disclosure when. The thing that I'm waiting for to drop is Trump has announced very soon he wants to release the JFK files. He wants to release the RFK files, which not RFK, the now, I don't know if he's gotten sworn into his Attorney General position, but his father that was assassinated, and the Martin Luther King files, basically to uncover the mystery of, these suicide, or of these assassination attempts. And there's other stuff. Aliens. Holy crap, the amount of stuff on aliens that's coming out. Jeez. I am stunned. One of the commenters that I listen to now and then is Glenn Beck. And, most people are like, oh, Glenn Beck! I'll listen to him because, he does keep his head in multiple things, and he tends to be right in the long run on a lot of predictions that he's made. And one of the things that he was talking about the other day is these drones may not be alien, they may not be China, they may not be another country. They may be trans-dimensional, which is like, what? So there's been a running theory for probably about a good 20 years that we're not talking alien life as far as, another, planet some far off. I feel like it listened to Michael Savage. I have listened to Michael Savage sometimes. I don't really get Michael Savage these days because he's gone a little more crazy. I will listen to a lot of different people on the net. I will listen to left and right to see if there's anybody that I find enjoyable. I've recently just started listening to Adam Carolla because Adam Carolla is a no-nonsense guy that calls it straight. The dude came out of high school with a D education in his education. The man was failing educationally, went and got himself a regular job and went to work. So, I respect Adam Carolla for that. I respect the common man going out there. That's the best way to do it. Yeah, absolutely. I was, an honor roll student, but I can't really say I was in the D, but I did talk myself out of an exam in my final year. I had to take one exam in my senior year, and it was a math class, and it was because I just was below the grade point average to have to take the test. But then I went up to the teacher and I gave him the averages of me improving or degrading my score at all, based off of his test and based off of how much percentage it was going to count in the long run. And I convinced him in averages that my math final exam would make no difference. That's the best way to do it. He basically was like, right, you can have off. It's like, good. I proved my math, by using math, I proved that I would not be able to improve my math score, and thus didn't take the exam. Went out and played golf instead, on a muddy course. That was by far one of the funnest games of golf. We lost so many golf balls. We played on a 9-hole, all par 3 course, and some crappy golf course, but it was playing in the mud, and it was just watching balls go and getting stuck in the ground. But yeah, about the dimensional shift thing, totally makes sense. It's basically the Musk Cat Girl thing about, yeah, it's possible. Essentially the ruler of Musk and being kind of... I will laugh if cat girls are a real thing. I will absolutely laugh. It's been something anime fans have been wanting. I will laugh at it rather than being aliens. Being from the future, her being from the future rather than aliens. Future travel. My main problem with future travel is you have to go beyond light, and light that is going towards an impossibility of structure. Basically, having an item go beyond the force of light would destroy itself. It's really hard, and I mean it's a little bit of a scientific thing. It's like it's why E equals MC squared, because if you go beyond MC squared, you're gonna start seeing things break apart. But yeah, I mean, it could be the future. I mean, we don't know. We don't know. For all we know, it could be some mass hallucination that somebody threw, gas in the air from the pollutants or something like that, and we're all going, wow, what's that? I am open to all possibilities. I just want, to be like, see the moment of, hail the alien overlords, take us to your leader, and they take him to a cat. I mean, really, a cat would be our leader. They are in charge of our lives. If you ever had a cat, you know. Cat girl, I mean, that would definitely take over the lives of some men and some women, I know. Of course, it would be damn lizards, probably. Well, I mean, there's the talk of, alien lizards, possibility being, and I think Chrono Trigger kind of threw this all in our head, aliens or lizards that survived the asteroid drop that created the Gulf of Mexico right now. I don't know if we've legally renamed it. I mean, as much as people gave crap about the Gulf of America to Trump, I actually think it's actually smart because of one thing. It's surrounded by Central, Southern, and Northern America. So it makes sense to call it the Gulf of America instead of just the Gulf of Mexico. Chrono Trigger, great game. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I might do Chrono Trigger as a playthrough for like a month, because we'll probably do a break, not on Final Fantasy when we go into the birth, but probably during birth. And I'm probably gonna do certain sections of Rebirth as offline, because this is just gonna be me running around fighting things. So it's not gonna really get anywhere in the story or get anywhere in the plot. It's just gonna be me getting, looting stuff. So I think I'll probably do that in the future. So we do our daily draw, and this week I'm doing new characters I've never drawn before, that are pinnacle in the stories of either Witchin or Demon Blade. I want to introduce you all to Callie. This is a canon character in Witchin. This is Ida's fashion maker. She has already been mentioned in the story and throughout the story. Basically, she is a witch that has created her own name brand clothing line called Poison Apple. And yeah, she's basically about Ida's age, and the two of them get along. And she'll appear later in the series. I just haven't had a chance to really introduce her. But yeah, I'm gonna bring her color thereabout. Let's see. I once worked in the capital of my state. Legit had freedom fries instead of French fries, and yeah. I mean, around the 2000s, everybody called them freedom fries, even though they were French fries. And they weren't. They're not French fries because they're from France. They're French fries because of how they're cut. It's called a French cut. This is far worse than Trump's Gulf of America. Cool, rip the Owl House. I mean, Owl House was a great series. I did not plan Ida off of Owl House, which it is about a magical girl who comes to a normal college and starts a life there. The first witch of it, and so we have a little bit of mixture of magic and humor. And it's just a comedy series overall, but I'm going to be introducing more magic characters. I already introduced earlier this week Ryland, who is Ida's best friend from back in their academy days, as it's called. And Ryland is going to be playing a bigger role. Literally, I don't know if it's going to be in the next chapter, because the next chapter I have something more important to do. But it's going to be maybe the chapter after that, where Ryland's going to start playing a bigger role in the plot. You may not see them as they are, because they are an illusionist, but they'll be playing a bigger role at the time. Callie will just be sort of a fun background character. We also introduced Pell. I am not going to say anything about Pell, other than in Demon Blade, Pell exists. He is planned as a counteractive to Tetra and Mai later in the series. And he may or may not have a much, much larger role in the series. But I don't want to talk about him because I don't want to reveal too much about the plot, because it never aired. It's never, that part of Demon Blade never got released. It was literally going to start on that part before I changed to the 2015, which is the current run. So if you read the 13, that story coming up was going to be where Pell would have been introduced. I've been aware a couple of the people I'm going to be drawing for that series is introduced. Character designs are way awesome. Thank you. But yeah, Ryland is a bit. The more and more I'm writing him as of late, because he's coming in, the more and more he's a simp for. This is what I didn't reveal to fans. He's more of a simp for Theodore, and of course, Ida is a guy. It originally is called Theodore Wansdale, or Webwood, Theodore Webwood. But because their father wouldn't let them go to college, they went in disguise as Ida Wansdale. And they're finding all the wonderful challenges of going by the family name of one of the biggest groups and trying to hide their identity without the college or the family finding out. It's very much Rumble 1/2-esque, if you're into Rumble 1/2. So it's very much a little bit of Rumble 1/2 meets Little Witch Academia, stuff like that. But yeah, for those that don't know, each of these are available on Webtoons, or Tapas, or DeviantArt. And Demon Blade is available on Amazon, as it says right there. Book 1 available. You can buy it for both print and digital. Little Witch Academia is good. Yeah, I really want to try and play out that game that they've released. They recently released a game, and it's like nobody's talked about it. And I'm like, this is a game that Bandai released, and I was like, why haven't you talked about this more, Bandai? It looks really good, and I don't know if they brought back the American cast, but they have brought back the Japanese cast to voice throughout it, and it looks like a fun, unique adventures game that I want to try and play. I don't think it's out yet here in the US, but I am going to play it eventually. I don't know if we'll do it on stream. I need to test it out first. I do know I want to play the new Yakuza on stream that's coming out, the pirate game with Goja. Goja alone is hilarious. But you throw in Hawaii, modern day Hawaii, and piracy, and you've sold me on the insanity already of the game. And we're going to continue to play, Final Fantasy with mods. The question is, do we continue with Stardew? And Stardew is still one of our best watched things. We do it on Sundays. But the main problem with our Stardew, and I kind of approached this when I did Stardew Sunday this week, was we have a point with the mods where they've literally broken part of the story, but it's up to the mod maker to fix. And it's starting to glitch things. So it's starting to get to the point where we may have issues down the line. I'm fully intending to keep doing it, at least as long as I can tell there's audience. Although I can see the audience is a little bit waning currently on it, which I understand. So we might change things up if people want something different on Sundays. If you want us to play another round of games, that'd be great. Hell, if you want us to play the Little Witch Academia game, we'll play it on there. Alright, what color? Now, see, I've done darker skins for a lot of people lately. I kind of want to do a putty skin for her. Give her those thick thighs. We also, of course, have our request show on Saturdays. For art requests, we are going to be doing an OC, original character that somebody's requested. I'm going to have to get with them. That's coming down the line. It's not going to be this week because I think there's something else lined up for this week. But I do know that's coming down the line, and I'm going to get with the person and be like, hey, I need a bit more detail on what you want here. But originally, when I created Dining and Doodles, it was meant for people to be like, hey, I want my OC drawn. It's all for it. That's what we built the show on. This is where I just chat about topical things, and we draw my regular comics or regular workload. But let's get on to, like I said, we're going to cover a bit of Trump. Because, the inauguration was the big news. And it still is the big news. If I went to Twitter, it's pretty much the dominant thing to talk about. So, Trump is in his second term, non-consecutive term, but it's a second term. And in this time around, he is not messing around. He is good to go, essentially. He is taking the reins and like, we're going to do things. It's exhausting to keep track of. He's fired a bunch of people, which honestly, as a person who does work in a government, and does not. I work for a state government, not the federal government, but in a government position. Yeah, he just fired a bunch of people that were just basically not doing the job. They were sitting at home and mooching money off of, and I'm happy for that in a sense that money's not going to be wasted anymore. That's the point. We have some of the highest waste of any government here in the U.S., and it's been sickening for years. I say this as a Sonic fan. It could be worse. It could be an OC. Sonic. I don't mind a Sonic OC. If somebody has a Sonic OC, I'll do it. I have no problem with Sonic, other than they get really crazy. Go Dodge. Yeah. Yeah, definitely the Department of the Division. Is it Division or Office? The government excess. It's basically to remove government excess. I am all for that. I was ecstatic to hear that as a possibility, because there's a lot of government waste. There really is. We sit there at my job talking about how we could do this job easier if the laws allowed it. Honestly, there are ways to. If we updated our systems, my job would be a hell of a lot easier and a hell of a lot faster. What my job is I basically sit there and do paperwork of people's birth records, marriage records, and all that. So it needs to be done. It's not like it's some job that can't be done, but we're following paperwork all the way back, well over a century old. On some cases, and we have to keep tabs of, hey, this is your information. Is this changed? Let me change this stuff. Oh, you died, or your father died. Let me make sure his information is correct here on your death certificate. Here it is. So, my position is mundane, but it's still important. But there are some things, especially when you get down to, what do they call them? Some of the scientific findings that the government pays for, particularly the federal government pays for, research. Just some of the research is just nonsense. And I think there was one that was like putting shrimp on treadmills to see how they moved. I also used to work in the state government. There was a serious debate on the Senate floor on whether to move to a more digital system or keep using paper records. Exactly. That's essentially said. Like I said, we're debating that as I do my job. If we want to turn to a digital record, problem is it would put people's birth information, death information, all that out in the public. Because anything digital, even if it's put on, a secured drive, can still be accessible by the internet. We discussed that with our department heads, because it's a matter of, we need efficiency with the record, and when you're dealing with paper records that literally are falling apart to the touch, and you need to be getting accurate records, like John Schmo, who lived in 1910, got his birth record, and he needs it to get his new ID with government and drive. I don't know why a 110-year-old, 115-year-old man would need to drive, but hey. It's stuff like that. And so, it would serve us better to have a digital record of it. And in a way, we do have a digital record privately. But it's only of the stuff we edit, not of the stuff we don't have on record, or we have a record just in paper. And when I say it's a lot of paperwork, I go through about a 50 pack of paper about every 2 to 3 days at work. It's just handling the amount of paperwork that's involved. It's absurd. And that's not even talking about, the actual certificates for people. It's a lot of paperwork. And you want to talk about, environmental things you could do. That right there, that all that paperwork, all of that could be summed down. And it's one of the things that we need to see from our governments. It really is important. To sort of see an efficiency. And I mean, both sides should be able to agree on that. I mean, the amount of government spending has just been erratic for well over 30 years at this point. Pretty much since W. It's been just a mess with the spending. And Trump's done it too, so I'm not going to say Trump didn't do it either. He did it too when he was in office the first time. And he'll still do it. He'll still spend. But if they can find ways to save, that'd be the best. Because our debt is our biggest threat, honestly. Because we'll just spend ourselves to a point where our money means nothing. I do like that. That was, I think, Rick and Morty season 2. They did it where Rick literally turned an alien's currency to nothing, and it destroyed the entire planet because their currency meant nothing. There's no money to pay them. It's worthless, and that will destroy states and governments pretty easily. I don't know why. I really don't understand this. I tried to get into sewing, and I still am going to probably learn how to sew properly over the days. I remember when he was Public Enemy #1 on the right and left. Oh yeah. Why the sewing? Everybody has the tomato sewing needle cushion. I don't know why they have it, but I'm giving it to our character here. She's got the little tomato sewing cushion, but she's got a little wrist strap on it. My mom had it. My grandmother had it. I don't have one because I don't have an elaborate enough sewing setup, and I'm not going to be getting an elaborate sewing setup. I'm going to be like, okay, how do I mend my shirt that got tore? Okay, that's how I do it. That's my intention with the with sewing kits. It's not. I have a coworker who loves to sew, and they make their own dresses. They do all this elaborate stuff. Me, I only dabble. Because I know my sewing skills. My crafting skills and all is crap. Do not ask me to make something physically. I'm fine with drawing it, but if I gotta make something physically, oh God, I'm in trouble. My handcrafts suck. I'm okay at sculpting, although apparently I've been told I'm a pretty decent sculptor, but that's simply because I just let my mind go when I'm sculpting, and I haven't done that in 20 years now. But yeah, I mean it's get out and do stuff. But going back to the course, yeah, I am old. Yeah, Joseph, it's understandable. I mean, we all get old. We cannot fight aging, despite how much makeup companies want us to deny that fact, and I'm perfectly fine with taking part in that makeup company denial. She also has a tomato. Oh, good. Yes, yes. I think the sewing tomato is just something that exists. I don't know. I'd have to ask sewing experts, which I am not in the circle of knowing, so I'm just trying to do a little bit of a tape measure here, because I'm designing this off of somebody I met that did some measuring of clothes when I was initially starting the transition. They would keep their tape measure on their neck, and I was like, that's unique. And so it's like, okay, well, that's where I'm going to have Callie have her tape measure. Since she's into making clothing, into making fashion, I'm going to have her have a tape measure around her neck as kind of like a scarf. I mean, that's essentially, if you want to create something, be it writing, be it art, be it something like that, learn from around you. I mean, a lot of people call this in my childhood and into my adulthood, it was be like, oh, they're just quiet. They're just quiet all the time. And I was like, no, I'm just learning.
Get your pencils ready, let's start the show. Travel draws here.
Yeah, but I remember dial-up and floppy disks. Grew up with the cartoons these kids these days wish you grew up. Oh yeah, exactly. I remember the 80s cartoons. I remember getting up and watching cartoons both on Saturday morning and in the morning. What color do I want first? Do I want to make the sweater? I mean, yeah, maybe go neon green here for a bit for her. She does use that color in things. And purple and green kind of play off each other, so. Well, actually, let's make that a different shade of green.
Or a pen or a crayon, make a mark any way you can. In this world of shapes and lines, we'll see creativity shine. Travel, draw, let your imagination
And for people wondering, yes, this is a new opening song for this stream. We do use AI for the music because it's the easiest way to do it. Yeah, I remember. But anyway, 200 executive orders. Yes, 200 executive orders. Trump is doing a lot of executive orders, but it's not unheard of. I mean, Biden just did a bunch of executive orders himself. He is currently the lead, but I don't know how much Trump will use. I'm not a big fan of ruling by executive order because technically that's not constitutionally the way it was meant to handle, but that seems to be the way we're handling it these days, because Congress can't seem to get their head out of their ass and vote on anything properly. Yeah, let's do a dark purple for top. Darker. And then I wanted to do, let me grab my throw a little bit there. I'm gonna grab a pattern to use here. I want to kind of use a. Ooh, that's perfect. If I can get it to go bigger. Fade a little bit. But yeah, Trump's doing a bunch of new inauguration, or a bunch of new executive orders that are mainly basically putting the world back into where he kind of had it before Biden took office, and undoing a lot of what Biden did. Basically making Biden's whole election pointless, which it's going to be interesting as the history starts to write about Biden. It really will be. What'll come out of that. Let's do that. Let's make her eyes bright green, the bright green. And I kind of wanted to do her eyes like that. That's the way I kind of saw her eyesight. Maybe, I don't want to do stripes. I kind of feel stripes are overrated. Plaid is in this year. That's one of the things I try to do when I design a character, especially if I want to design something fashiony. I look up designs. I look up what's popular. Mind you, I try to wear what's popular also, but that doesn't always work out, but it sometimes does. So I have a lot of plaid that I've been wearing as of late too. But my fat butt doesn't fit sometimes, those outfits, because they're made in China. Going back to the China concept. But I mean, honestly, if you've not been through the situation, I know it's something really only women, or both trans or regular women, go through. A lot of the sizing, especially on Amazon, and I've got to call Amazon on this, it says it fits, you know, this one size, but it actually is like an Asian size that they're quoting. And that Asian size tends to be like a far smaller size than what the US declares that size. And it is just infuriating when you shop for clothes, especially like I do. I shop a lot on Amazon for clothes, simply because I like the trends, and it's the best way to get it. And then I turn around and get the clothes, and the clothes are just very tight on me, very form-fitting, and for someone like me with a big amount of food in my belly, good way of calling myself fat again. It's basically hard to do. Yeah, it happened to my mom when she ordered Amazon. Yeah, exactly. It's a common problem, because you're ordering from someplace, and I swear what was also infuriated me with the clothing as late that I've been getting is I tried to get winter clothing, because I didn't have much of a way of winter clothing this year. So it's like, I need some winter clothing, so I need some thick stuff. And everything I get is like the thinnest material. Alright, Joseph just said something, I just can't see it yet. I guess maybe that's the mom. Yeah, my mom, I can't really tell. No, there we go. If you get that reference, congratulations. Reference. You're too old than me. You two are old like me. I'm not sure of the Amazon reference, or if there was something that you posted that didn't come through. Because, or it's on the chat that I can't see. Hold on, let me see if I can make the screen bigger. No. It's about the only thing I can do. Ah! Now I made it double. Ah! No, don't transition. Live. What the hell did I do? What the hell am I doing? Ah! Alright, I made it even worse. I can't see see it even worse. I'm seeing transition, which I don't want to transition to a scene. Because I don't have a scene to transition to. I definitely don't want to transition to scene. Let's do... I still kind of want to do another Glasses character in Witchin. The one that's been drawn in, and a lot of people, I purposely hope that people kind of forgotten about her, because she's about to be reintroduced to the audience, and I kind of want her to be kind of new and fresh, and people are like, where is this character? And be like, it was introduced in Chapter 2. The Get in My Belly. Oh, please, Austin Powers. Both 2 and 3. It was. He said it in both films. But yeah. Get in my belly. I want my baby back, baby back, ribs. Baby, the other white meat. Yes, I know that one quite easily. That's this girl in anime Shia Meek. And that character is going to be Shia Meek. She's being introduced as that way, and she character-wise is done that way. I think the only unique character still is Abigail, where it's the just complete bat crazy insane because she just wants to be insanity, but there is a downward element to her backstory that's going to be playing in later in this chapter. It literally, actually, let's go to where I was drawing earlier. This part right here at the top, that's the end of Abigail's side story in chapter 6. It'll continue on other chapters, but that's the end of it right there. Because I only have but so much to give in a chapter, which it's not as long as Demon Blade, but Demon Blade is also done in black and white, and it's been written for years. There's some updates to Demon Blade as it go, but hey. Demon Blade is far more serious. Or Mad Scientist, yeah, the same. Yeah, I don't have a Mad Scientist. Well, I mean, I guess Callie would be considered a Mad Scientist, but I don't know if I want to make her that. I have not fully worked out her personality that well. I know in the initial script, there was gonna be a scene in chapter 1 with her. I don't know why I've gone to this. Standard color set. Where Theodore was going to show up, go in the bushes, shift to Ida, and basically come out and be in these baggy clothings and meet Callie and her mom, and basically it was going to be Callie basically forcing her into, you know, hey, you're Ida Wansdale, I want to be your fashion, you know, provider. I want to make you my my spokesperson for my brand, and basically that's what it is. Callie is very much the spokesperson for Ida's brand. So typically, when I draw Ida, in fact, let me see if I can pull up a picture of Ida that has the brand on it. Let's see here. Witchin. Chapter 1. Yeah. You can see on the shoes the Poison Apple logo. The whole outfit was designed in mind. That was the outfit that Callie gave her to wear to introduce herself, to be her public image. So I mean, I'll regularly put the Poison Apple logo here and there. It's literally just doing an apple, and I do a ton of apples in Witchin' with the Wansdale symbol being an apple, but it's doing an apple, and then taking the lower half and sort of sliming it a bit. And that's essentially the Poison Apple brand. I don't have a full essential one. But yeah, meanwhile, Glasses guys and anime are usually scheming masters and manipulators. That makes me think. You gave me an idea. Because I have a character I need to be scheming and maniacal, and I haven't really fully drawn him out. I think that was going to be the next character I draw out on Witchin'. Tomorrow's is planned another Demon Blade, but I think we'll have to do a schemer with glasses for Witchin', because it's definitely going to be a schemer. He's going to be a fellow student in the college. That's all I'll give out about him. Because we already know one of the teachers. One of the teachers is going to be one of the Wansdales in disguise. In a very dumb disguise, but a very amusing disguise nonetheless. I mean, that's the concept of comedy. With comedy, you want to go with the absurds. And speaking of Witchin', here's the Witchin' theme. So. In a couple of days or weeks, I might release the Demon Blade theme song because it's coming out. Team Rocket level of dumb. Not Team Rocket level of dumb, no. It's Team Rocket is too good for the theme of his disguising. Let's put it that way. It's too good. They put too much effort to his form of disguising himself. Let's just say they're from a magical family that is known for making magical items that even the public use, and he's going to be wearing one said magic item, which is just going to make him look more ridiculous. And that, like I said, Team Rocket would be a little bit more effective, to put it right. So, his disguise is going to work on normal people, but people like Ida are going to be like, seriously? So, I'm kind of come up with the concept that different people will see him differently. No matter what the disguise is, it's always going to be like somebody else sees them like this way, and somebody else sees them like this way. Because it's the fun stuff you get to play with magic. Essentially, when you do something creative, it's like, oh, well, you know, the magic nonsense that goes around and plays around with the characters. I mean, I do a little bit of it with Demon Blade, with Tetra basically getting her outfits constantly changed by Mai. There's a little bit more silliness coming along in Demon Blade when we introduce characters like Lori, which is more of a comedy-esque character. So it's like, yeah. We just got to get through this very, very dark and serious storyline that's coming up. So. But what did I call her? What did I call Callie? Ugh. I know her first name is Callie. I just don't remember her last name. I know I wrote it somewhere. That's the problem. It's like, where did I write it? Where did I put it down? I don't think that's it. I think that's not exactly what I need. I'll see once it opens. Edward. Ah. I'm not seeing here, so we're gonna come up with it on the fly. What we're gonna call Kelly by her, give her a last name. I'm gonna call her Threadweaver. Well, no, Threadweaver's too much. Let's see here. Starweave. No. Star Stitcher. How about that? Yeah, Callie Star Stitcher. From the ones who should love me, but they pushed me away. I thought I found my peace now. In the silence of the night. No more tears, no more pain now. That'll be the that'll be what do you call them? That is the right way to spell Stitcher, right? Saw a face full of lies. Tried to hold it together. Oh, nope. There's another T. See? See? Every laugh, every whisper. There is no spell check in the hand. And my brain is ADD deprived. Alright, so yeah, we have our little drawing for the day. Ultimately, let's end a little bit with me working some more on this, but also talking about, because I do want to address the people that are in fear about the Trump campaign. They're worried about, and I'm not gonna say, you know, you're right, you're wrong, and having fears towards the Trump campaign. It's only history will learn, will know, and if you live by, but I will say, if you live by fearing the past or fearing the future, you'll never get anywhere. You will. And if you feel like the world's better off without you, because of this, please seek help. It is, I assure you, it is not as bad as people make it out. Far too many people in mass media, social media, and whatnot, over dramatize things, and the news media does not help on this. They make everything about, you know, how horrible Trump will be and whatnot. It's not that bad. I will be surprised if a war breaks out with Trump, because Trump honestly does not want war. The man was the only president to seek to have peace. And, you know, yeah, you may have a rough time because you won't be able to do some things that you thought you could in the past. It may be the case. I don't. As of this point, the only thing that's you can't do now is go on TikTok and start a new channel. And that's just literally right now. It may be changed in a week or a day, I we go through so much changes these days in a flash, and if you just deal with life as it comes to you, you'll see things through. You will. It'll be rough. I mean, as a person who's lived homeless twice and gotten out of it, it's not easy. It is not easy. I say, it's bitterly cold. 15 degrees out there, 17 degrees out there right today. I've been sleeping in the car when it was 2. So it is not pleasant. It is very hard to do. And even me being well prepared did not appreciate that night. I do not want to repeat that night. So I work hard to not repeat that night in my life. But I may end up there. And that's a possibility. But I will work hard not to make that a possibility in my life. To change my life to the point where I can be a better person. And that's why I always end these sessions and these streams saying, go out there and be the best you that you can be. And it does not mean, you need to be some godly importance. It just means you need to be the person that you can live with that day and try to strive to be a better. You will have times where it's going to be fall and difficult. People in California, like I said, right now are trying to pick up their lives from a fire. People in North Carolina and Tennessee are still trying to pick themselves up and survive the cold from a hurricane that devastated the mountain area. I mean, life is going to get in the way. It is going to suck, and you will have to deal with it. And anyone elected into office will never have that much power over you as long as they're elected as we have it in our Constitution. You can fear what may come, but I assure you, more often what may come is just another day. And it may not be the best day for you. It may not be the worst day for you. But it's important to just see it through. Because when you give up, when you turn to, sadly, as one news story said from somebody on a protester saying, it's like, oh, well, people have been offing themselves from Trump. Joseph, gotta go, but you have a good night. You too, Joseph. Thank you for joining in chat. Basically, yeah, do not. No one should have that power over you. I kind of talked about this last week when we did the anime review on Anime Ham. We talked about sexual assault because I was sexually assaulted almost 2 years ago to this day. And in the anime, it kind of really gave a bad take on sexual assault. And life can be horrific. I can tell you, I still fear for myself from my sexual assault attack. I cannot get over some of the things, but I have to push through. I have to keep seeing the day through, because if I don't, life will destroy. And that's why I really suggest people work to be a better you, because it'll help you get through. Finding avenues that'll help release stress. We do art here on the stream. We talk about stories I've written as well. Those are good avenues. Sewing's a good avenue. I know a lot of good knitters out there that love to knit for their stress relief. Sing, whatever. I mean, find something. I know many of you out there may not even listen to me on this. You may be like, oh, well, you're a complete nut job and you've completely sold out to the right when you're a trans person. Like, look, I said before, look, I have had no issue with people in the past when I transitioned. It's a matter of the image you put forward, and it's both physically and mentally. If you're a trans person, you're watching this, it's like a lot of the actual transition is how you mentally approach things. If you are looking to disrupt people's lives and be, in your face, you're not going to be accepted. You're not. And that goes on anything. It doesn't have to be transition. It can be anything. You're going to piss people off. That's how you piss people off, generally. If you're just being a respectful person, be like, hey, I'm just here to live my life. This is how I'm doing things. More than likely, you'll be respected. More than likely. It won't be easy. There will be hard points, but it's a way to live through. And if you're a person that despises Trump, I just hope that over the next 4 years, you find a way to live through. It may be hard on you. It may be more than 4 years. It may be less than 4 years. I don't know. We don't know how long we have. But as long as you have breath, be productive with that breath. And that's what I wanted to leave out on to tonight. So we're doing a little bit of witching here. You guys can see more of it. Like I said, every Sunday we do a release of witching. Demon Blade's on a break until February, where it will return for releases on Tapas, DeviantArt, and Webtoons. If you want to catch up on Demon Blade, it is available on Amazon. Witching is only available on Webtoons and Tapas and DeviantArt. It is not going to be available on other platforms. You can also go to demonblade.com, demonbladecomic.com, demonbladecomic.com, because I couldn't get demonblade.com because somebody else has it. Yes, you can go to demonbladecomic.com and get the read the entire story. So if you're broke, if you're broke, you can get most of the stories. You can read chapters 1 through 6 on Amazon for free if you're a Prime member. Simple enough. That's been a deal with Prime ever since I've been doing Prime. I've been one of the first Prime comic artists out there, and been working with Prime for since 2013. Honestly, I started with 2013 with them. So yeah, there are books out there that I have released on Amazon. Most of them are digital. The only one that's print is Demon Blade, but yeah. And yeah, we will be back. If you want us to draw something, leave a message in the comments, subscribe. We talked about, Joseph brought up their Sonic OCs. Yeah, I'll do Sonic OCs. Bring them. Just give me a heads up of what kind of creature and what color you would want, because, that's the key things with Sonic. I'll draw them. There'll be a feature of a Saturday stream. Haha. We'll also be doing gaming streams. Right now we are playing through Final Fantasy Remake with a lot of mods. We're really changing the way that game's played. We will be returning, and we'll be doing this week. It's going to be getting up to Shinra building. We'll be playing the side story with Yuffie again with it. as well. And when we get to Rebirth, I probably will do mods if people want us to do mods. If people don't want us to do mods, we won't do mods. But we'll be doing a playthrough of that. And if you want another series, if you want to, you know, we have our Stardew Sunday. We have entire Stardew Sunday, but we may, you know, play another game if somebody wants us to play that. The key with the Sunday stream is it's supposed to be more of a relaxing, chill. So that's why I'm like, maybe the Little Witch Academia we can do on Sunday. Maybe. It depends on the audience, but let us know. It helps us. Always like, comment, and subscribe. Go out there and be the best you can be. And as always, have a wonderful evening, a wonderful week, and a wonderful year. Good night, everybody.
Every face I see reminds me of the fight. Lights go down streams and